Project at hand today is to make a helper stool for my little niece. She just had a baby brother and they love to have her helping out in the kitchen. So I have made a helper stool before. Basically it looks just like this with a longer base, flat side so it can butt straight up to the countertops. And then I had a frame at the top up here that kind of jutted out and encapsulated the kids so they couldn't fall backwards off of it. After knocking it over about 100 times, that finally broke off, and this is all that's left, and we still use it today. So I think I'm gonna make this out of 1x4s, and maybe, I'm not sure yet, I might use a half a deck board down here so it's nice and rounded and it's heavier at the bottom, and then make the rest out of 1x4s, or do decking at the top so it's nice and rounded, but then it'll be heavier at the top. This is just how my brain works, and I'm thinking out loud as I'm making this video, so let's just get started. I just made those gates that you haven't seen yet in my time, but I've probably uploaded it by now. But I have some extra 1x4s scraps kicking around, and then I grabbed some of these cutoffs from brother-in-law building his porch. So that's actually this is for their daughter, so this was their 4x deck board, so I think it would be a nice touch to use them for the project. So since we already have this nice piece right here, I say we rip this in half and we use this as the floor pieces, the pieces that touch the floor. I have some felt kicking around somewhere we'll put on the bottom of it, and then from there we'll go straight up with the vertical pieces, also going to be using 1x4s. Yeah, let's get going. Alright, I must confess that's my best rip yet. I just noticed though at the end of the rip how badly these boards are warped. I don't know if it matters, because if I put felt on either corner down here and up here, and then I just build the rest, it should be fine. Even if it has a little bow to it, it'll actually stabilize it because it'll have fewer points of contact with the ground. So I'm gonna roll with it. If I don't like it later on, well, I can replicate this. I know how to do it. I've been having problems with this fence. I don't know if you saw it in the time lapse, but I have to triple check things before I rip, because it will clamp down out of square with the blade. So, yep, but I'm super happy with that. Let me just demonstrate real quick. Side by side, I mean, it's a 30 seconds of difference. And for me, as a novice, that is great. So my dilemma now, and I'm not gonna lift this fence yet, but my dilemma now is, do I want to make the rest of this piece with full-size 1x4s, or do I want to rip it down again? My thought process is, if I rip it down now, while I have the table saw set up nicely, I can make it a little bit lighter weight and easy for the kid to move around. But I'm gonna totally defeat that whenever I go ahead and put these huge deck boards on the top, because they're not light. So I could just build the rest of it. I could just do like a nice routed top with the 1x4s, and that'll keep it lightweight. I just don't know. Some of these boards have some really nice grain orientation, like this guy right here, he's nice and good. These two are not that great, neither is this guy. So I don't know. Like I said, when you're indecisive and you're not really sure how you want to go, just keep moving. So with that in mind, I'm gonna rip this down. So I keep saying to myself, I need to bring you guys more in on my thought processes. So I just measured out, obviously, a 5/4 board, well, 2 of those will fit right there to make a nice step. So I'm going to keep rolling with that process in mind. But then I was just thinking I can't have a split down the middle, so I have to have a board behind it to back it. And then I was thinking maybe to notch this board so that these could sit inside of there. That'll make it super strong. And then I need some sort of support between these 2 legs on either side. So I'm thinking either to notch it. Let me just grab a marker. I'm thinking either to notch it like this so I can have a board that goes across that's set inside. I'm a little worried to do that on a piece that has an angle to it because it might weaken it a little bit, but a piece like this should be okay to do that. And then that way we maintain the flat back to be able to butt up against the countertop. And then maybe I'll just, so on my other one I did this, I have like a little step attached here, just like that goes across to the other one. And that works fine. I'll probably just do the same thing there. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Got some basic measurements laid out now, so I can start making some more cuts. Remember all that talk I was saying about not moving my fence until I had all the boards cut that I needed? Well, I already done screwed it up. So I don't have a whole lot of experience using a box jig, but I made this one the other day to try it out, and yep, I went too deep. And then my first cut, I didn't really pay attention very much, and I went too deep. So this is a fail. These pieces won't go to waste, but you can definitely see I went too deep there, so we need to cut 2 more and try again. But if I'm being honest, this is the discouraging part, right? It's like, oh, I'm defeated now. I screwed it up, but I've never done this before. So I don't know why I'm so hard on myself, but I wanted to at least share that. I know that's helped some people in the past, so I wanted to at least share. Everything looks great on YouTube, but not many people show their mistakes. No, I'm lazy. I didn't want to mess it up this time, so I just took a block of one of the ones I'd cut off, and now I'm just going to adjust the height of the blade to the top of that. And you got to be careful with table saw, well, with all blades, they have these little tips on them, and they will rip a little bit deeper, so I'm just going to favor a little bit on the shallow side, and we'll sneak up on it if we have to. But yeah, proud of my lazy choice there. That was definitely worth redoing. Real happy with that. This side's a little loose, but not really bad. I'm really happy with the flushness on the top. This side is perfect. I mean, the friction fit is enough to pick it up. So yeah, happy with that. Came out really nice. So again, smooth. Got maybe a 64th too deep on this side, but man, for my kind of quality, that's high quality. And it wasn't, I was kind of jamming, not really paying attention, and I went ahead and cut some more boards. Those are my feet boards. These are my 10-degree front boards, I guess, the front supports. Yeah, there you go. It's not that crooked. 10 degree is all I went with. I feel like that'll be enough. And then I have these other pieces. So yeah, you missed this, my bad. I literally just kind of snuck up on it, guessing with the miter saw, and then taking these boards, which I know are the height I need, and then measuring high side up here like that to high side down there like that. So I probably still have another 16th to take off there, but for now that's good. I'll get closer with that later. So the next boards I need, I'm gonna need this guy right here, which I have one more board I think extra right now, and I'm also going to need this guy. In thinking about it, I think I can use this scrap right here because I don't need it if it's going to be on the inside of this. So on the same plane with this board, this one's going vertically, this one's gonna sit flat up against the bottom of the 5/4 boards, the deck boards. So it's gonna sit flat like this. So all I need to do is notch it for this guy and just butt it up against this. And if I'm doing the other way, that's not gonna work. More thinking, might have to cut some. I'm breaking for dinner, but I don't know if you saw it in the time lapse. These came out fine. Happy with those. Like I said, the load's going to be placed vertically up and down, so having a little notch is not bad at all, and it keeps it flush against the counters like we wanted. Same over here, happy with that. This was the loose side, so it does have a little bit of a gap at the top, but I'm not worried about that. Screws went in good, they're nice and flush, they're going to hold in while that glue sets up. Down here, I don't know if you can tell in the time lapse, but I was struggling. Both sides drifted, so I got them glued up and clamped up right now, and I'm going to take a break because I'm getting frustrated and I'm going to start making bigger mistakes than I normally make. So yep, if you see here, this hole drifted. So what do I mean by drift? Well, in my opinion, it's the growth veins in the tree. Depending on where the screw hits, it'll move the wood, and it moved it to the left, which is really bad for us because we're trying to keep it flush on the outside. So before that glue had a chance to dry on the bottom, I pulled this screw out, drilled another hole, and sank this screw with it good and clamped up so it couldn't drift, and that held it. So happy with that, fine with that, and it looks good. I didn't intend to have a gap in the middle, but I noticed after I did one side that I had accidentally gapped it, so I just went ahead and took a 16 penny and set it in there when I set up the other side. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna zoom out a little. It feels very tall right now, I must say, and I'm a little concerned that it's too tall, but we'll see once we get it all set up. I can always take 4 inches off of it if it is too tall. But my niece is pretty small right now, and in order to reach the height of a counter, she needs to be tall. It needs to be up tall, so. And I'm just noticing, I need to check. It's not perfect. Let me put you on a tripod real quick. We're doing it live, and we need no time lapses. I'm just pulling it out until I see that it's level and flush with that. Yep, so this one's good. Now I'm going to check this side. This one I could see earlier. Yeah, so just pulling it before that glue dries. Now we're good to square. So if you really want to get anal about it, you can set another clamp through your square. And considering the fact that I'm building this for somebody else, I am going to get anal about it, especially because it's their child that's going to be using this. So squareness is not optional. It must be square. So we'll go ahead. I can already see, this is why I'm doing it, I can already see it's trying to go back to where it was. So now I've got the square in there, good and flat. I'm going to clamp it on. And now that should hold. And I'll grab another square and shoot the other side. Just to make sure it hasn't drifted. Yep, that looks great. So, coming off the tripod, bear with me. And when I say tripod, I literally just mean you're clamped on the back of the chair. So, I know, you're impressed. Yeah, so that looks much better. I'm glad I brought you here to help me check that. I'm also seeing that this isn't super flush inside. Got a little bit of a gap there, but it's flush on the back, so that's all I really care about. This one's got the same thing, a little bit of light through there. Not a big deal. Yeah, all right, time for dinner. Got these two attached. Their glue is drying now. Same story with these. They started to drift and give me some trouble, so playing clamp wars over here, trying to get it to screw in straight. I should probably be pin nailing all of this instead of screwing it, but man, there's something about gluing and screwing that really holds it together, and that's what I want, is strength, because I know ours gets misused. It's not only used for the kid, you know, the wife jumps up on it every now and then too, because if it's a tool and it's in reach, it'll get used. That's just how it goes. But yep, and then I went ahead and installed the step as well. I was having trouble keeping this from these two legs from veering out, so I went ahead and tacked that in real quick. It was just glue and 2 screws, and I got the clamps on there holding it down because it had a little bit of racking up here. It kind of racked a little bit back that way, and this one was doing the same thing, but it's gluing up well now, so I'm gonna let that glue dry. And yeah, the only thing I have left to do is put the feet on, and I'm trying to decide how I want to attach it. My general thought process now is, again, remember these are bowed, so we're gonna touch the back with them, flush it up on the back, just like that. Well, and then we drop it on the ground. I'll just overhang it a little bit. I have mine sitting flush like this on the original build, and that works well for added stability, but I also think it's unnecessary, so I'm just gonna set it in a little bit, just like that. Again, we'll keep a wide overhang on this to make sure it doesn't tip over. And I think I put it upside down. Yeah, there we go. So I'm looking and I'm seeing some trouble brewing already. I'm seeing it's not sitting flush. So I'll either have to trim this or check with a different board or something. But yeah, I'm seeing a difference there, and I ain't liking. I'm gonna set it flush on this guy. I can get a line drawn, and I can see that I'm about a 1/4 inch out over there. So let's see what we look like over here. Feels like the same, so yeah, it's just a cut difference there. No problem. Anyway, I think my plan, once I get this sorted out, is to just come in from the top with 2 screws, maybe even just 1 screw, and one, you know, with some glue. Should really hold it well. But yeah, let me get this figured out and see what's going on. Okay, let me zoom out a little. So here's what we're doing. I got it sitting flush on the right side on top of that guy, and then I'm just marking right there. So hang on, bam, we got our mark. So I'm a little bit different on this side right there than I am over here. And I'm I've checked that a couple different times just to see before I cut it off. But I'll probably just grab the jigsaw and just rip, or maybe even the circular saw for a straighter cut. I don't know. We'll see. I don't feel like putting this on the miter saw and chopping it clean. But yeah, that's where we're at. And you can definitely see it from further away when you get down on it. So staring at these two little lines. So this first mark here is what that side over there was, which was 17.25, and this one is right at about 17, a little bit plus a little bit. So my plan is to cut the 17.25 first and see how it looks, and if I need to cut off more, that line is where it should be. So yep, I'm gonna think about that for a minute. I probably want to let this glue dry up a little more before I do anything more. So yeah, take a look at it. Okay, so cut off about 1/4 and about 1/8 on this guy. Let's see how she sits. I'll pan you over here in just a second. Camera's moving. Alright. That looks pretty good. Let me pan it down a little bit. That's sitting nice and flush. I don't want to use the level, but it's pretty good. Got a little rocking, but this table's not dead flat either. Try the floor. Yeah, that sits pretty flat. So I think I'm happy with that. The next step will be to put the legs on. And I was thinking about this. Obviously, this is post-Hurricane Francine. I'm in Louisiana, so it's been a minute. But I was thinking about these legs and how I want to mount them, and if I want any additional support on them or not. Let me zoom you out a little. If I want any additional support on them or not. And I am at this point undecided. The thought process I had was basically to mount some runners across the bottom here, but I know that these boards down here are the, horizontal support that the rest of the structure needs to stay square and stay flat. I can definitely cut off a little bit of these. I don't need them to be that long, but I think I like it how it is. I guess we'll take a look and see, because the option I have is to take another board and to put it this way, probably on the inside, and then flush that up, and then go all the way across with it. I just don't think it needs that sort of strength for what this thing's most likely going to be used for as a kid. But I don't know. Undecided. I like the way it's coming out though. I can definitely see the potential, especially once it gets sanded down real good. So yeah, let's just go ahead and cut these down a little, because they definitely don't need to be this long. I'm going to take off maybe a couple inches, 3 inches, 2 inches. Yeah, let's take off 3 inches. Just got a little chamfer, 45-degree on the front there. Save some toes. Using this little piece that I cut off earlier. Ooh, gotta be careful with that guy. It's got a little foot on it. But yeah, I'm just lining it up. See, I did not use the foot properly, but I'm just lining it up and seeing how I like it. Probably needed to get a different piece for this, but the general idea is to use the same piece to line it up on both sides. But I think I like it like this. I think this is enough cross support to do everything we need to do as far as strength. And yeah, I'm just gonna tap some holes and glue. Probably just one screw, one screw, one screw, one screw, and glue, and that should be good. I might do a 3-inch screw instead of these 1.25 inches. Looking at the side here, even if it's sank in, I'm only going to be getting like half an inch into the strong material. But if I were to use a bigger screw, bear with me, a big old 3-inch deck screw, that would be sitting nicely and give me some more racking strength as well. Yeah, I think we're going to try and do that. It's going to be risky, but I think it'll be worth doing. So, like I said, if I'm building it for somebody else, I'm going to build it way strong. So let's do that. So that went perfectly, but the legs are on, the feet are on, and I do have some felt that I'm gonna cut into little squares to sit on the edges here, 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 and here, because that's where it's actually gonna make contact with the floor and it'll slide easily. I do see some kind of cupping with how I mounted it, so I might, while it's gluing up, I might grab some more clamps and clamp that kind of thing down. But, you know, I'm rolling with it. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but we do have some decent glue squeeze out in most of the joints. Over here as well. Decent. This guy was starting to split out on me back here. And, you know, I'm doing the best I can to mitigate that. I had a little bit of split out on this one as well. But yeah, let me get a clamp on this one to help fix this. This one we have clamped it down. Measured the legs. I think I have a 1/16 of a difference, which I'm willing to work with. A 1/16 of a difference between the two heights is not the end of the world. I can sand that off if I need to. Remember, excuse me, remember I said these have a kind of a cut to them, so I can work with that and removing that 1/16 to make it sit flat. But yeah, we're gonna let that glue set up. It's Sunday. I wanted to get something done, and finalizing this guy feels like a pretty good place to start. Yep, I'm just gonna leave these clamps on there. I got this screw backed out so it can glue tightly, and then I'll screw it to reinforce the glue and not have to put as much pressure, is kind of the idea there. Yeah, just sitting here looking at it, I don't see anything else I really need to do to it. I know it's going to be strong enough, but you know I'm going to put it up to the test before I hand it over to anyone, and that means I'm going to stand on it. So, yeah. All right. First test is a success. It is about 20 degrees warmer up at the top of the peak of this shed, that's for sure. A little bird's eye view, how about that? While I was gluing up, I was setting up my new retractable hose under there. That's my air compressor, and I made a little hinge so I could adjust the actual pressure. And yeah, I just mounted it under the worktop for now. But yeah, doing all this from on top of the stool, it feels stable. Giving a little wobble, feels pretty good. Front and back, side to side, feels good. I'm gonna step down. Not hardly any wobble. Now when I put it on this table, it's got a little. See, it's got a little, but I think we can work that out with sanding. But yeah, let's get to sanding and get this thing in a deliverable state. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap this video here. While I was sanding, I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, but a piece chipped out right here, so I'm patching that up, just glue and sawdust, and it's already hardening, so I'll sand that flush and hopefully it won't be too noticeable. But yeah, in the time lapse you missed, I did not video installing the felt pads. It's just one little what is it, 3/8 inch staple or something tiny. holding that in along with the adhesive. And then one of the main issues we have with the one I built initially is that where it bumps into the cabinets can leave a mark. So I put some felt pads here as well, because the design of this is to be up against the cabinets, so we have less to worry about there. Lots of sanding. It feels really nice to the touch now. I'll probably keep sitting here fussing with it. Like, I got some roughness on the inside right here I gotta fix, but man, it feels nice. I'm hoping they're gonna like it, and hopefully they're gonna get many good years of use out of it. Initially in the video we talked about how these ones were bowed down here. You can see my initial plan did work, because I had in mind that I was going to be putting those felt pads. So yeah, that worked out good. Belt sander is probably a little aggressive for sanding something like this, so I did end up switching to just some hand sanding 120. You know, it isn't perfect, but for what I can build and what my capabilities are, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.